Good afternoon. Really haven't done one of these videos in a while. It's been about a year, uh, but I just wanted to get on and share my thoughts about the motocross season, both in the 450s and 250s. First, I'll start with the 250s. It's really no surprise that Deegan, Hayden Deegan, dominated the way he did. Yeah, Shimoda came on, the last, I'd say, 4 or 5 motors of the year. Really showed some speed. Really started getting good starts on a much more consistent basis, and that really helped him. And I think he's definitely going to be one of the probably the top guy for the championship next year if those starts continue. I really like, let's see, when you look at Tom Vial, who knows what's going to happen with him next year. There's been talk that maybe he's going to go back to the GPs next year and possibly, I think, sign a deal with Ducati to ride their 450 next year if he does go back to GPs. But quite frankly, I'd be not very surprised, but kind of surprised by that, because he's really starting to find his groove over here. He's won 2 championships in Supercross, and even though this year, this summer didn't go according to plan for him, obviously, he showed some speed at times, and let's see, another guy, Garrett Marchbanks. Man, he rode awesome this year, but the thing that killed him is a lot like what killed Shimoda was starts. I know he's a bigger kid in the class, so with him being bigger, probably around 5'11", 6 foot, that obviously puts him at a disadvantage when it comes to starts. But at the same time, he's been getting 12th, 13th, 14th place starts all year, so it's got to be something a little bit more than that, I'd imagine. Just slow on reaction time. I don't think it can all be attributed to him being a bigger kid, but I don't know. Maybe that is the case. Maybe once he moves up to the 450s, whenever that is, he will get better starts. We'll have to wait and see. Who else? Let's see. Levi Kitchen was another disappointing guy this year. Up and down. He'd have motos where he'd finish second, and then motos where he'd finish 10th. I mean, you just never knew what you were going to get with that guy. But he definitely has the talent. He has the speed. If he doesn't move up to the 450s next year, which I don't anticipate, I anticipate him being one of the favorites. But you could have said that the last few years with Levi Kitchen, right? So we'll have to see how things play out with him. Again, I like the kid's talent. I expect big things from him next year. But going on to Hayden Deegan, I mean, what can you say? I don't like the kid a lot. I think he's arrogant. I think he's full of himself. But there's no denying that when you look at overall stats in the 250s, he's one of the best guys. He's one of the best guys in the history of the class, and he's got to defend his Supercross title in the West, which I anticipate him doing rather easily. Well, not easily. We'll have to see what Cole Davies, what coast he rides in, because if he rides in Deegan's coast, I anticipate him giving Deegan a run for his money. That Davies has a lot of talent, a lot of bike skill, He does things that a lot of guys can't do. But the thing that Deegan has over everybody is mindset. He just wills himself to do the job. And a lot of things, not only in sports but in life, are all about mindset. And that kid has it. He just believes and knows that he's going to win, and he just goes out there and dominates. So I'm very excited to see what he does in the 450s next summer. Now going to the 450s, what can you say about Jet? I mean, even though it's just the third year in the class, the 450s, Jet's seemingly breaking records every week. The guy just is uber talented. He just makes it look easy. Like yesterday in the first moto, he was dominating by 8 seconds, but he just slowed up because he was bored, and he let I forget who got second in the first moto, but he just slowed up because he got bored. And then the second moto yesterday, obviously Hunter got the win, but Jet could have won that if he wanted to, but he won. He let Hunter have that one. The guy can just do whatever he wants. If somebody even gets close to him and maybe passes him for a corner, it's like breaking news, because nobody can touch the guy. It seems like the only guy that can stay with him on a somewhat regular basis, and I emphasize somewhat because he can't even stay with him for a whole moto, is Hunter. Hunter, he's just a bulldog, He's got tremendous speed and fitness, but he's just lacking that little 0.5% he needs to stay with Jet for a whole moto. But I anticipate him getting better in the off season, and I anticipate him being right there for the world championship. Yeah, it's gonna be the Lawrence brothers for the next 5 to 10 years probably. Maybe Deegan can sprinkle in wins here and there, but I generally think it's going to be the Lawrence brothers. It's going to be their show for the next, like I say, 5 or 10 years, and those damn Australian boys are good. They're good, man. But getting to Eli Tomac, and full disclosure, he's I'm a little bit biased towards him. I've watched Eli for 15 years, and I like him. I like the way he goes about his business. Doesn't talk. He just goes out and does his thing. Now, I know the last several motos of outdoors weren't typical Eli. Now, my theory is he's been hurt the last couple of years. So, first of all, he's just, I'm sure he wouldn't say that. Obviously, he's not going to say this because he wants to beat those guys, but I'm sure in some way he's just happy to make it through a season healthy. And also, he's, I would imagine he's anxious to get onto that KTM and get in a groove with them. So he's just, he was just kind of riding out the string, so to speak, and doing what he had to do. But I'm kind of anxious to see what he does on this KTM. It's certainly going to be different. He's also been with Monster. He's been a monster athlete for the last. He's been a monster athlete for the last 6-7 years, ever since he started with Kawasaki. So it's gonna be different seeing him wearing Red Bull gear, but I'm anxious about it. There's been talk that maybe Eli should retire, but I'm convinced he can still win races. Maybe he can't win the championship anymore, but he can still win races because Eli doesn't have to keep racing. He could have stopped a long time ago, but I think first of all those injuries kind of rejuvenated him. He kind of didn't want to go out like that. And secondly, I don't think he would have signed a multi-year deal with KTM, or signed with KTM at all, for that matter, if he didn't still love what he did and still didn't think he could win races. So I'm very anxious to see about that. I hope it goes well, but we'll have to see. Let's see, who are the other guys? Prado. Who the hell knows what's going to happen with him? Because I've watched stories on YouTube that he's not very happy with Kawasaki, and they're not happy with him, and that sure as hell doesn't seem like a happy situation. He's just out there kind of going through the motions. I mean, here's a former MXGP champion, riding around getting 12th place in nationals, or he dominated nationals over in Europe. So it's a very strange situation. I wonder if he's going to eventually end up going back to Europe. Well, we'll have to wait and see about that, because safe to say this has not been a very good experience for him. And moving quickly now to Chase Sexton. He's going to be moving over to Kawasaki rather. So that's going to be another interesting situation. He was just starting to get comfortable in the KTM, but life goes on. So we'll have to see how he adapts to the Kawasaki. So some very interesting situations to come. I know we still got the playoffs coming up in 2 weeks, so I'm anxious to see if a guy like Eli finishes out the year on Yamaha, or just decides to move on over to KTM for the playoffs. Because I know 2 years ago, Cooper Webb, finished out the year on nationals, or he didn't even race the final couple nationals, and then he ends up riding that Star Yamaha for the playoffs 2 years ago. So I'm kind of wondering if the same thing happens with Eli. But like I said, to start off, this was my first video in a while. I hope to be a little bit more current, and I hope to do these a little bit more often. So if you want, you can subscribe to my page, Hungarian Madman. To be quite frank with you, I'm trying to build up a lot of followers, so eventually I can hopefully make some money doing this. If you get I heard 2,000 followers or something, you can get some money. So not to sound greedy or anything, but because I love doing these videos in general, just talking about racing and maybe some other stuff. But part of it, a very small part of it, is possibly being able to make money out at it. So, like I said, if you like this video, follow my page at Hungarian Madman. Thank you. Talk to you guys later. Bye.